What's going on, YouTube? This time it's the early 2022 rankings for the wide receivers. Let's get it. Alright, everybody, our top 5 receivers start with none other than Davante Adams. Davante Adams is the absolute definition of consistency. He's a touchdown monster. He has a quarterback that believes in him. He's in a air-out offense. He's everything you want in a wide receiver. He's probably the only wide receiver that I believe that should be in the first round. He is that consistent on the back end of the first round, obviously. But he had an amazing season yet again. He had 16 games, 123 receptions, 1,553 yards, 11 touchdowns. This guy, he's where you want to be. He does it year in and year out, and I'm all about consistency. I never look at the people who flash the year before. I want people who consistently can put up those points year in and year out, and Davante Adams is definitely somebody that you can count on 100% of the time. He had 8 100-yard games last time. That 8 out of 16, so 50% of the time he's at least putting up 100 yards. That's huge. That's what you want. Air yards per game, he had 93.9 air yards per game. Definitely in the green, some of the best in the absolute league. Percent of the team target, almost 30%, 29.4% of the team's targets. That's how you know he is a big part of the offense. Catch rate, 72.8%, definitely in the green. He's got some good hands. He'll catch the ball. A lot of times they're little deep routes and they're going for a touchdown. Drop rate only 1.2%, definitely in the green. Again, it goes hand in hand. Some of these numbers is what you really want to start looking at when you're doing your research to find out what's going to deviate yourself from one wide receiver to the other, especially when you're talking about top 5 wide receivers. They're all very, very similar. Average snap count, 85%. He's on the field. That's what you want to see. You want somebody in the 80s. That's where they are. That's the people that you want to start looking at. Davante Adams, again, on the Packers. You can't go wrong. He's definitely my number 1 wide receiver. Now, let's switch over to our number 2 wide receiver. Will definitely be Cooper Kupp. I know Cooper Kupp will probably be on a lot of people. He'll actually probably sneak into the first round just because of the historic season that he had last season. I mean, no wide receiver has ever had a season like Cooper Kupp last year. He played all 17 games, 145 catches, 1,947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm thinking there's going to be a little bit of regression, but not enough regression to take him out of my top 5. I have him as my number 2 wide receiver. 100-yard games, 10 out of 17. Over 50% of the time, he's putting up 100 yards. Matthew Stafford trusts this guy. He's his safety blanket, his safety valve. When they need a play, they look at Cooper Kupp. Air yards per game, 93.9, same as Davante Adams, definitely in the green. He had 31.8% of the team's targets. Again, Matthew Stafford fell in love with Cooper Kupp. You know, first year Matthew Stafford came over from the Lions, he was looking for somebody that he can trust. He found Cooper Kupp. Catch rate, 75.9%, definitely in the green. Drop rate, 2.6. He was a sure hands. He's not dropping anything, definitely in the green. Average snap count, 94% of snap count. He was never off the field. Maybe to get one breather a game. That's solid. That's what you want for fantasy gold. I think he'll be consistent. Let's move over to our number 3. This guy is the definition of boom or bust. He's either going to win you a game or lose you a game. It is what it is. Week in, week out, you really can't depend on him, but I'm telling you, when he hits, he hits. He can throw you 50 points like there ain't no tomorrow. It's going to be Tyreek Hill. He played in all 17 games. He rocked out 111 receptions, 1,239 yards, and 9 touchdowns with 3 100-yard games. But they're not just 100-yard games. Sometimes he can even get you 200 yards receiving. He's a downfield threat. He's fast as all get out, and he plays with Patrick Mahomes. That's all you need to find out. But he's definitely number 3 because of that boom-bust potential. And when he booms, you're going to win that week. Air yards a game, again, probably more than anyone that we've talked about so far. 100.2 yards, 2 air yards per game. Definitely in the green. Percent of the team targets, 25.3, so he's definitely a part of the team's targets. Pretty much him and Travis Kelce. That's pretty much the offense. The catch rate, 69.8%, definitely in the green. He can catch the ball. Probably not as high as these other guys because he does a lot more deep down the field type of thing. 5.7% drop rate though. He needs to He needs to not drop as many of the balls. That's why probably he's below the 70% of the catch rate, and then at 73% snap count. So he's on the field. That's what you want to see. Let's go ahead and move on to our number 4, Stefon Diggs. He played in all 17 games, had 103 receptions last season with 1,225 yards and 10 touchdowns. He did have 2 100-yard games. He's the person that Josh Allen was looking for. Not as good as 2 years ago, but last year he was still a good receiver. Can't really go wrong with Stefon Diggs. I had to put him at number 4. 108.6 air yards per game, definitely in the green. Percent of the team's targets was 26.1, and the catch rate was 62.8. Drop rate 3%. Average was 82%. I mean, he's on the field. That's what he does. He's the number 1 receiver for the Bills. They're a good playoff team, and he has a quarterback that has a cannon for an arm. So let's go ahead and move on to my number 5 wide receiver. We're talking about Justin Jefferson. This young kid is amazing. Straight out of LSU, he came in there with Kirk Cousins, and now he has to compete a little bit with Thielen. But Justin Jefferson has proved himself to be definitely a top flight tier talent in the NFL. 108 catches, 1,616 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He had 6 100-yard games last season. Air yards per game, we're looking at 124.6, definitely in the green. This guy is going down the field. He's rocking and rolling. The ball's in the air, and he's probably going to come down with it. Percent of the team targets 29.2, his catch rate 64.7, and his drop rate 5.4. So that's why he comes with a lot of bombs down there. So he's either going to catch it or he's going to drop it. But that's what happens when you start getting those bombs down the field. Average snap count's 89%, right? But that is my top 5 wide receivers for 2022. Right now, our little early rankings we have going on. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your top 5 receivers are, and then we'll catch you with the next video. Thanks.